Welcome to Mojo Talks, where we explore the world through stories. I'm Mayur Channagere, visual storyteller and your host.
Today, we have someone who's known for his contribution across sectors. From startups to policymaking to education reforms, and is widely respected for his financial acumen. Named among the most influential voices in India, his work reflects both intellectual depth, relentless action, and he was recognized by the Government of India with the Padma Shri in 2015. Mr. Mohandas Pai, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Mr. Pai, I've known you for many years, but I think today's conversation, I want to start a bit with you talking about the Old Bangalore. You're a very old Bangalorean and you lived most of your life here. How has Bangalore changed over the years from you growing up around to now?
Well, I was born a long time ago. Those days were different. I was born in the late 50s. So the 60s and 70s were decades where nothing much happened in Bangalore. We went to school. We walked to school 5 kilometers. We played in school. We went to Kabam Park in the afternoon, threw stones on the fruit trees. And we were naughty boys. The school ended at 3:55, and 4:05 was the bus at Corporation, which should run across Kantiraj Stadium to the Corporation bus stand in 10 minutes, maybe in 8 minutes. And it was a life with no expectations and a very quiet life. Then I was at school near my house in Nehru Nagar. Nehru Nagar was then the outskirts between the old city of Majestic and Chickpet and Malleshwaram. Then we had the Basangudi crowd and the Malleshwaram crowd who did not talk to each other, who felt they're separate countries or separate states. But it's a very quiet life. Nothing much happened. There was the BTS bus service. We used to go in the bus to visit relatives quietly on weekends and go to the movies. So entertainment was going for a morning show. It cost about 2.5, 3 rupees. Very surprising. Or going and playing, we used to play in the ground every day. Go to the public library and read. And college got over, and in college, 77, I think 75, 77, when the emergency was about to end, we had a strike. We marched on the street against the emergency. We shut down the college. We had a march for revaluation. So we were an anti-establishment crowd in college. And I still remember the principal calling my father to school, and my father wondering, to college, and my father wondering what the hell is happening. And we did very well in St. Joseph's Commerce College. We were 9 of the playing 11 in cricket, won the inter-college cricket tournament for the first time. And we used to go watch the boys play hockey. And in school too, we went and defeated the European high school boys.
Remember, that must have been something.
Yeah, we went to the ground near Brigade Road and saw our team defeat. There was D.S. Ravi who played for India later.
Yes.
So we had a great set of people, and it was exciting. And in Commerce College, we used to go in the afternoon to Koshi's for lunch, eat a sandwich or something like that. And then there was the Sapna restaurant on Residency Road. Yeah. We went there once and bring the price down from the union. We all ate and then walked off. And I was stuck there, being the last guy. I paid, of course. And then they brought the price down for us. We just had to say we're from Commerce College. We had a discount. And we got 3 ranks in the university. I got a rank, and other 2, Rajendra Rao, Padamchand Kicha got ranks. Then we went to Law College, Bangalore Law College, University Law College, Bangalore was the premium law college. And all the budding politicians went there. And I remember we went and told the principal, Dr. Bashir Ahmed, that we want a sports quota. And in the sports quota, we tried to push in many people in hockey and cricket to build a cricket team and hockey team. And many people got in, over and above the 100 students that could get in.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was the morning school. Then I did my CA. The CA was, very different. And my principal there, Ramanath Kamath, kicked me out after maybe one year and a half or something because I was a little bit indisciplined, he said. I used to wear the same pair of jeans and go in my SD and sometime late, but I did my work. And I was the first to pass and get a rank from his office anyway.
Wow.
He remembers that. Then Singhvi, F.R. Singhvi and Singhvi Devanuni gave shelter to this poor boy who was thrown out. And many fights with Uni on audit on technical matters because we always spoke back.
Yeah. So, from what you're saying, I gather that you've always been a rebel.
Yeah, we've been rebels because we've been anti-establishment. That is what young people are. And you should be anti-establishment in a positive sort of a way, not going on strike and destroying property and stopping things. Just making your voice heard and making sure that things happen and getting a point of view. Because you see, being anti-establishment there, not for being destructive or having ideology like communism or something like that, but for having that energy to debate, to discuss, to disagree. Then, of course, we said we'll not work for anybody because we had that kind of rebellion. We started practice. Well, we never made money. I used to go to my mother after finishing my CA when I used to work to ask for money for my petrol for my and I remember we could fill a full tank of petrol for 53 rupees, 13 liters I think for SD. MER 107, the machine is still there with me, with my brother, my late brother's house. So I think it was a quiet life with no expectations. Nothing. And we had enough, no luxuries, a quiet life. And entertainment meant a movie or driving out if you had some petrol, and that's it. And living was okay. And then, the Infosys story came and all that. Then I saw change. So till then, Bangalore was quiet. There was not much traffic. Cars were rare. Buses were available. And autos ran by the meter, which is surprising to you.
Yes.
Yeah, people, went by the meter. There was greater honesty. There was not that much dadagiri. And then when I started working at Infosys from 1994, we used to go to Electronic City. We watched how Electronic City grew. That was a 2-lane road.
Yes.
It became a 4-lane road. Then it became a 10-lane road at the bottom. And then it became a 14-lane road at the top with 4 lanes going there. We saw traffic come. We saw the IT industry grow. We saw everything grow. So I think the decade of the 90s, late 90s, were the years of growth for Bangalore. Till then it's growing, but we didn't feel the growth. And that's where I think Bangalore went wrong because we didn't invest ahead of need. The government never understood what was happening, what was to be done. Because you see, the governments of all the states were more interested in managing poverty. They could never manage growth. They imagined India could grow.
Grow this much.
And India did not grow till 1991. We grew maybe 3.5% a year from 50 to 80, 5.5% in 80, fueled by debt. Then after liberalization, we started growing. So late 90s, we started growing, and Bangalore became the booming place that is today. But they never understood that. They stayed happily in Vidhan Sauda. I remember once we took the minister for Bangalore to Outer Ring Road to show him what is happening, and he was shocked. He said, "Is all these things happening in Bangalore?"
Wow.
So they're very comfortable there with Vidhan Sauda. Politicians trying to make their own money, run a business, in the name of politics and all that. So there's a disconnect between what Bangalore needs and what Bangalore is. So Bangalore today has become a very vibrant, great city. And Bangalore has become overgrown. It lacks governance. The governance structure is extremely corrupt. And we are 15 years behind in terms of infrastructure. Quality of life has deteriorated. But job opportunities are enormous. Opportunities for earning is very good. And if you have money and earn, you can really live a great life. You can have great holidays, travel overseas, educate your children in the best school. Everything is available in Bangalore. And Bangalore is essentially a middle-class city. There's no city like Bangalore in India because there maybe out of 1.2 crore people, maybe 55, 60 lakh people are the middle class. We don't have a so-called upper class like other cities, the traditional business class, because we didn't have business class. The only business person we had was Vijay Mallya, who sadly is now in London. Apart from that, everybody is a self-grown entrepreneur. Yeah. And Bangalore is a city where you can walk on the street and you will find a billionaire walking next to you.
And you won't even realize.
Yeah, and without having to show off his car or his big house. So people understate their wealth and their ability, unlike others. And here, respect is for the one who's the smartest. Respect is for the intellect, respect is for people's knowledge, and respect is not necessarily for the one who's got the biggest check or the biggest bank balance. And people don't show off their wealth here, even though many people spend. So I think it's a very good middle-class city, highly educated, very cosmopolitan, and barring a few bad elements who try to push the language issue once in a while, essentially to collect hafta, to collect the roll call that they call it in Kannada. I think it's very peaceful, but broken down. Bad infrastructure, quality of life, traffic, etc. All the things that come with growth and high jobs, but lack it. And technology is what makes Bangalore the greatest technology city in the world.
True. And the other thing I would also add is we are definitely a culturally rich city that's come down
Yes.
from our roots.
No, I think we have been a culturally rich city because after Mysore, it was Bangalore, which was promoted by the Maharaja. And here is where from Mysore, many people came after Bangalore became the capital. And we had our cultural spaces. The Institute of World Culture in Basangudi, that area was very vibrant. Malleshwaram was very vibrant. And of course, Koramangala was a swamp. Koramangala is now the place where the neo-rich billionaires stay. All the neo-rich. For us Bangaloreans, it's a very faraway place. Beyond Elgin Mills, Bangalore didn't exist. Right? And that's why beyond Ulsuru, it did not exist. Beyond Meki Circle, it didn't exist. And beyond Jayanagar, I think 4th block or 5th block, it didn't exist. That's the Bangalore that we grew up and we still think is Bangalore, but it's grown.
And culturally rich, the other thing that it at one point we had so many cultural centers which were spread across, and be it music, be it art, be it dance. But today it's kind of become clustered, and those old places that be it in Shankarpuram or other places, those places have slowly died, and we do not have those pockets apart from few, places like Rangashankara or in Whitefields. Do you think we need more such?
I think we need more. See, what happened at a point of time was when things were very slow. People had enough time to go to a play. People had enough time to have a cup of coffee, bite to coffee, and discuss the politics or books or something like that. Go for book reading. Events were very popular. We used to go to Central College to watch a Ranji match. Nobody goes to watch a Ranji match. A test match was very huge those days, okay? And the league match. We used to watch league matches. When under 21 came from Hyderabad and all, we went to the ground to watch cricket. I mean, we used to watch Brijesh Patel play, G.R. Vishwanath play, Prasanna Ball. We used to go and play. We see, people had time. Then now people have no time. So when people had time, all these culture spaces became very important because people went, spent time, they had leisure, they liked the arts. So life was slow. And commute was not a problem. You could go from place to place. I could go from my house in Nehru Nagar to Indian High School in about 10 minutes. Just one straight road, go down Nehru Nagar and take that BVK Iyengar road or something like that all the way down to Kabam Park. So it was in a cycle and it's very nice. But now, it's become crowded. So people don't have the time. They spend more time on commute. And all these places which are there, they're not thought of the future. Yeah. You see, art and culture depends on patronage. When costs are low, people volunteer time. It's easy because there's a group of very dedicated people. Other people come, they raise money. For example, in Sheshadipuram, we had the Ram Navami celebration.
Yes.
They used to come and collect money. We used to give 5 rupees, 10 rupees, 20 rupees. Now it doesn't work. We need a lot of more money. So the patronage system has to be built up. And I think people have to understand that they have to market a little bit more because there's clutter. There's so many things today. We never had TV. We had the radio. There was no TV. There was no Netflix. There was no nothing. No online, internet. Nothing was there. Right?
Correct. Everything today is on the phone.
Yeah, there's so much of stimulation today. Everything is there for you. Sitting at home, you don't have to go out. So the way culture has changed. And the whole type of culture was very genteel, very nice and participative and very slow. And you could imbibe it, you could feel it, you could sense it. And you had intellectual stimulation and you felt happy. Okay? But today there's so much thing happening, it's clutter, so it has to be marketed. And we need many more cultural spaces. And we need to have more patronage from people because it requires more money. There is there's Jay who runs, that modern dance, modern Indian dance, Kalaripattu dance. Yeah. He wants to set up a cultural center where you can have a dance school and all that. And, he has to raise money. Okay, Rangashankara came up because of the patronage of people. Like that, right? We need some 10, 20 Rangashankaras all over the city. So I think that people have to come together. We need more museums. We need more art places. Government has set it up, but government controls it.
Correct.
And many people come. And we have to open up. For example, we wanted to redo this museum on
Venkatappa
Art Gallery.
Yes.
I don't know why those artists protested. Because Abhishek would have rejuvenated it. And they would have been able to sell more of their paintings. It would have been a better place. But they all said state must come. Without the state, we'll not do this and that. And none of them are able to sell their art in that place. Correct?
True.
See, government cannot run museums the way it used to once. It's broken.
Yes.
For example, go to that Victoria Technological Museum. It's very old. It has to be rejuvenated. Go to the government, museum on Kastuba
Kastuba
Road.
Road, yeah.
I mean, it's very old. Museums have taken a back seat. Museums have to be places where children go, people see. You go to London, you visit all the museums. You go to New York, visit all the museums. There is a way of running a museum. We have the Science Museum, which has come up, which is very good. We got MAP, which has come up by Abhishek, which is very good. We need some 15 museums. A museum of space, a museum of technology. We need more.
We need more of public-private partnership.
We need more public-private partnership where the well-off of this city come and give back. I've not seen many people who made a lot of money, are billionaires in technology, give back to the city. Has any of these people, founders of Infosys or Wipro, which are big giant companies, created an auditorium for Bangalore? Have they created an arena for Bangalore?
We see this culture up north, isn't it? I mean, Bombay.
Yeah, we see
Bombay
it
has,
happening.
Delhi
We
has.
see it happening where Sunil Munjar is creating a museum. We see Shiv Nadar doing it in a very big way, collecting art. We've seen Kiran collect art, but she has to give more money.
Correct.
See, I think they have to give more money for the city. We have not seen many of them. If I talk to them, they say, oh, we built some toilets 15 years back, but that's not enough. I mean, they're worth billions of dollars. They got to give it back. And many of them are promised they'll give back 50% of what they own in that pledge by Bill Gates. But I've not seen them make attempts to improve what
Towards
they
the
do.
arts
See, we need visible signs of progress, like Murthy used to say. I've been telling the founders, why don't you create a big, auditorium or a big theater in Bangalore, an auditorium in Bangalore, like the Kennedy Center, in your name, as a gift to the city, and manage it. Why not? They should work with the government to get them land, because land is important, and build it for public use on a no-profit basis. I think we should all come together and people should give. For example, Ravi Chandar has created the BIC, which is very good. He raised money.
Yes.
But it's been tough for him. He runs the Bangalore Retention Festival funded by people. Like that, we need many, many things. But the very rich have to give back to the city, which I'm sorry, they're not being given back in the manner they should have.
What about a model where, we have so many malls coming up, so many huge
Yes.
estates coming up? What if they dedicate a space for art and
No,
culture?
I agree. In fact, I've spoken to government to say that wherever there's a development of more than 10 acres or 5 acres, or wherever 4,000 or 5,000 people stay, you must have space for some art, and you must have space for some theater or something like that as part of the development. They must create art spaces open to the public, so that they become vibrant places. Because you see, it'll become monotonous. Life becomes terrible. See, life is just not an animal existence. Get up in the morning, breakfast, going running and coming back and this and that. Life has to be experienced. And the arts and culture and music and everything else enhances the human experience, makes life much more rich.
Like you said, art, music, any form of art, it
Any
kind
form
of
of
slows
creativity.
you down and it goes back to the old Bangalore.
Not about the old Bangalore, new Bangalore, but
it's-
to a quality of life where there's aesthetics, you like the beauties of life, etc. I think is important because human beings evolve. Earlier there was patronage by the Maharaja and all who believed that art and culture and everything is important for society. People went there. And then we had government to depose the Maharajas, came in, they did something. Now they lost the plot. But I think we need that because how do society become creative? How does society create great things? How does society improve the quality of life for everybody? And how does society become more human, become more compassionate? It is art, culture, reading, books, discussion that make you more, I believe, more compassionate, more inclusive, and more accepting of others, right?
Correct.
Because all of us have differences, and the differences must be discussed and settled in an atmosphere where people can debate, people can discuss, people can experience. And the plays and art have the ability to shock you, to show you different facets, and to enable you to understand what life is. And we must all say what kind of a society we want to prepare for our children. We don't want children to become widgets. Now, technology is such a big thing. We don't want them to become widgets. We want them to experience life to the full.
But just taking from there, the way technology is moving today with AI and everything, I feel at some point creativity is going to be at the forefront of it, isn't it? Because everything is getting automated, everything is getting very technical. And in fact, there was a study recently conducted which said people who use, for example, ChatGPT or something, the brain developmental, the thinking part of it has actually diminished over the period of time.
Well, I don't think they had a brain in the first place for them to diminish. I don't think they're well read or well educated. Look, I would say technology is an enabler. It's a productivity tool.
Correct.
It's up to us to use technology. We should not depend on technology for the end result where we become an input for the technology. We must use technology as an input for what we do. Right? Now, how do, for example, you have a play. How do you use AI and how do you use virtual reality and how do you use, let us say, animation to make it a richer experience? You see our movies now. There's so much of animation happening. Correct? So much of animation, so many great things happening. Now, that is very surreal. And that is very different. Look at movies like the space movies, right? And all that. You see, it's unbelievable what has happened, right? Now, that is an input that can be done in art and everywhere else, right? You can be creative. You can democratize art easier. And you can do many things that can happen. The drudgery of creativity can come down and you can be, and creativity become democratized with everybody.
And it kind of, like you said earlier, right? Music, this experiences also kind of eases up and space in your brain to kind of.
Yeah, but please remember, technology will standardize many things, and that means mediocre people who can impress people by their creativity and packaging can no longer do well, because music, for example, right? Music can be created on the machine, and the machine can run many things on its own. And when the machine is programmed, it can start creating more ragas, more things, right?
Yes.
So you have to beat the machine. So there's a challenge for you. It becomes much more challenging.
So you're saying that people who think outside the box, who are creative, who are original, truly creative, original from the core, are the ones who are going to stand out.
Will stand out much more than earlier, because the very creative, partially creative, the distinction is not easy to decipher.
Yes.
Okay? Now it's easy to decipher. It'll become easier, because the really creative will be extraordinary, and they'll be extraordinarily rewarded. The mediocre creativity in others, well, you become part of the landscape.
And now, so you're able to differentiate, because we had this phase, especially in the last decade or so, with social media and everything, where everything was copycats, right? One trend comes, pick it up, then you have, so you can't really differentiate. That's been also my argument with many of the younger students today when I talk to them. I said, create something different. Stand out. It might not be an easy journey, but at some point, it will stand out. You will stand out, and that's where it's a slow
journey. I'll give you an example. Now, you got many AI software for which you can create videos.
Yes.
Why do you think of crazy ideas to create videos? Now, that is creativity.
That is creativity.
Okay? Not creating a video.
Yeah.
Creating a video has become mundane.
Yeah.
You understand? True. That, because everybody can create a video. Some can be better, some can be lower.
And
the machine gets trained.
Correct.
Yeah, it gets templatized, and machine gets trained to do that. But you got to think of new ideas, new input. That's what you can do as a creative person.
Yeah.
Huh?
Correct.
Now, you look at Phantom of the Opera, the way it has been depicted, the way it has been done. Somebody has done it. It's creative. Correct? Yes. So how can you write the lyrics for something? Can machine AI write the lyrics? Yeah, they can write the lyrics. It will be as creative as you know, because you have something extra. Because you got 82 billion neurons in your brain and they can all connect. And you have that input to be lateral. You have that intelligence. Machine doesn't have the intelligence. It has repeatability. So I think that's the challenge for everybody. So people must think, I got all this stuff by which I can do many things. How do I become better? What is it that I can do? What is my individuality? They have to think very differently. For that, we got to create a problem-solving culture and a creative-first culture in younger people, but letting them express themselves and think and judge them on their expression, not on their output. Judge them on their expression, judge them on their creativity, and give them a chance to do everything else, right? See, for example, I got 3 grandchildren. One is 4 now. I mean, he asks so many questions. He sees so many things. He talks, he sees. I'm so surprised, surprised at the creativity a child has and the curiosity the child has. And his brain retains everything. And when I tell him a story, his eyes look far away and he's imagining the situation of the story. His eyes look far away. There's wonder. wonder in the eyes of a child. You can see the face look like this, oh, and there's an expression. So he's imagining, right? Now that's the kind of imagination is key to create. Because the industrial way of education beats you down into a template where you have an output and you judge by the output. Now that should change. The information that you give should become an input and you should be judged. For example, you should be judged for projects, for writing about something or expressing something and everything else. Information available. Using the information available, right? Mathematics is of course solving problems. There also AI can solve many problems.
Correct.
Okay?
Yeah.
So what are you going to test people in mathematics? I really don't know. Because in real life, you're going to use AI to write out answers for the problem. So when you have a question in the exam, you want to write out all the formulae. What will you do? But you got to test them to say, do they know the formulae? Can they make it work? And use this instead of writing it out, use that and express. So I think we have to come with new ways. And further, the only thing is to let the mind roam free. To keep that curiosity alive in school children and everybody else in college. In college education, we can change. Instead of, I sit on the board of 2 or 3 universities and I tell them, look, pedagogy should change. For example, all the information that you have is available. Don't push it in the classroom. If you have 60-minute class, 30 minutes you have, let us say, a teacher talking and explaining something, which is important, big people have to understand. And then 20 minutes you spend having discussion between them, what they understood. Let them talk, everybody. And then 10 minutes you have one student coming and presenting on that topic or some other topic. Because once you present, you express, you think, and you get confidence, body language, communication, everything improves. So don't make it a one-way, make it a two-way.
I mean, this is something which I keep again mentioning. When I did my MBA in London, here our curriculum was very theory-based. The minute I went there, we had classes for 2 days. But then even there, our professor would always tell us that, okay, we're going to study marketing or branding. And he would say, we'll discuss a case study of Coke versus Pepsi. We would do all our research and the class would all be about discussions, counter arguments, thinking outside the creativity.
And then the principles.
So that would really tickle and prepare us more for the practical.
The problem is the faculty. They're set in their ways. They read books long ago. They don't want to change. They feel threatened. Because, see, today every student in a class, school or college, beyond class 6 or 7, knows more than the teacher.
True.
They're all in ChatGPT. They'll ask questions. There's nothing they can surprise them. In fact, when he gives a lecture, the student can Google and tell you you're wrong, you're outdated, here's the latest stuff. So they'll do that. So we got to use that kind of thing to your advantage. For example, for an MBA course, I told them MBA is an art and not a science. It's execution. So I told them, when you get a freshman class, in the first day itself, make them into groups of 3, maybe in a class of 60, 20 groups. Tell them, go write a business plan. What does the business plan have? An idea or a concept, make into a product or a service, then how to create that, how to market that, how to sell that, how to have people for that, how to raise finances, and what do you expect there. Let them sit down and spend 1 week, 2 weeks writing a business plan. Then let them come back to the class, present to all the class, 20 presentation, and let your peers then evaluate you and say which is the top 5. Because then you get 20 teams expressing your ideas. Then once you do that, you're moved from the output to the input. And then you have theory. Then when you have theory like marketing, you know in the business plan and you have learned or understood how marketing plays a critical role in business. Now when the professor talks about the principles of marketing, how do you build marketing, what do you do and everything, it resonates with you. Because you know that you need all that and how it helps. Because all these components come together in one single business. And now MBA is about running businesses, about process, about creativity, about building businesses. So you understand all. If you read all the theory, you don't know how it all comes together. What is the impact of one on the other? I told many people, but they listen and say, yeah, they go back to the same old stuff. And then at the end of the course, you have another business plan and form the same groups and tell them, come and present. You'll find it's a very different thing. And they're fit for market. Because why? They've understood how the components of business come together, how they all run together, and the mind is very creative and alive.
I had a chance to talk to one of our clients, CEO from Atlassian, Mike Connor. They have this thing. When a new joinee, fresher joins the company, for the first few months, they are not put on projects. They have something called, I think it's called the ship it, where these have to, very similar model, where they have to work on practical problems and come up with solutions. And the entire organization across the globe actually sits and evaluates it, and they see if there is a fit. And if there is a fit, they actually go and work on it, and it's a product or a service that is given out.
Yeah, in fact, I told my team at at Finacle, they used to report to me. I said, look, whenever new people come, ask them to run the Finacle product, use it, and give feedback. Is it how is the use? Because the problem is the software products are run by engineers. Engineers look at interoperability, scalability, all the beautiful things. They don't look at customer experience. But they must understand, other end, users are dumb. I mean, not dumb.
Yeah.
Dumb means they don't know.
Correct.
They want ease of use. They want
2
things
clicks.
to be done in 2 or 3 clicks. They don't care what is behind.
Yeah.
Because for them, they just are using it. No, you don't think about it. Say, oh, it's so rich. You can do this. You can do this. Goggle it. Do this screen, that screen. You can do it because you understand. They don't understand. They're not interested.
Simplify it.
Simply, for example, Uber is so easy, so dumb. Booking a hotel, some of the greatest apps is so dumb. And I can do it. I can do it. I normally never book my hotel. Now I can also do it because it's so dumb.
It's
Uber is so dumb. 1, 2, 3, and your mind works and it's okay. So I think it's important for people to understand. And every time new people come, you get fresh ideas. Then you can improve the product from the user consumer. The key is in the consumer market, people who build things from the point of the consumer always swing. Look at Apple. Apple builds all things from the user consumer. The consumer usage, consumer experience is more important than anything else. What comes behind that is what you do.
and it's the efficiency,
the beauty of the product, that
the look and the feel.
Steve Jobs said about the curve of the phone instead of edges, the curve and thinness. I mean, it's beautiful, isn't it? Look at the thinking.
It's an art.
It's an art. Now, that is creativity. And that is what sells. And that is the source of success in creativity. You understand?
On that question, sir, I want to ask, since you work with so many startups, right, and you've seen some really do well, some fail in the global, even if I look at the market as such, apart from planning and experience, where do you think they are failing apart from understanding the end consumer?
They're failing in that customer experience to make it easier for the customer. I think that's one important thing. They have to improve. And the second thing is in execution. See, most of them are young people who never run a business. They don't know. They're growing up. So you're building a business, you're taking money, you have to get superior returns, and you have to scale up, you have to do many things. And what is it you do? In the consumer business, you take money, blow it up, and give freebies and say, we're going to use, and you push money. But that doesn't work beyond a point. You have to be viable. So the key is, how do you execute? How do you grow the business? And what do you do? And we find that people who are run businesses, who come and start a new business to run, they are a little bit more successful, but they're less creative. Where younger people are more creative because they have not experienced, they don't understand how the world works. So they reimagine the way the world works, and then they try to push that, and many of them succeed. But then beyond a point, execution has to be different. That's why when Sergey Brin and Larry Page created Google, they handed over Google to others to run very early in the game.
Yes.
Because then Google became a big business and they were doing the creative technology part. I think it's something that people should start thinking. And that's where. And the third thing is, how do you raise fresh capital to keep going? Many people who are very good techies, very good engineering, don't know how to raise capital. They're not impressive enough. Because in the early stages, you can get impressed by the technology. Because, it is just a PPT. So somebody says, I'm going to do this. You imagine the technology, you can
more
fund
of an
it.
idea.
But then later, when you have to go to B2B or B2C or B2B2C or whatever it is, then how does it real work in real life? Execution, getting people, making sure it runs, customer satisfaction, it's the same thing. And that is where I think they have to do, and raising money in the future.
Mohan sir, we just want to take a quick break here and come back. There's a lot more that we would like to chat with you.
One minister abused me. I think the youth are today very disconnected with their own heritage and culture. Tirupati, how do people come? The queuing system is terrible. You are treated shabbily. Sir, London is very dirty. We got 6,000 buses because the stupid government entity runs it. They don't know how to run it. They make losses. Why can't the streets be clean in Bangalore? It is dumb. And they ask me, Yake, Yelbindri, why did you come?
For everyone out there, stay tuned. This is just a beginning. This conversation is not over yet. Till then. Keep your mojo alive.